In today's video, we're going to talk about this: how to be more productive. You're not in the convincing business, my friend. Let's talk about it. Welcome to another episode of Career Strategies. My name is Rodney Hughes, Mr. 100%, and the purpose of my channel is to teach you strategies that can help you advance your career. So if that's something you're interested in learning more about, smash the subscribe button, join the family, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon so you won't miss out on any of this extremely valuable content. Okay, so let's talk about it. How to be more productive. You gotta be more productive in life. Listen, everybody gets 24 hours, not a second more. You gotta be more productive. You gotta get things done, okay? And one of the most powerful concepts that I have learned, that I'm constantly trying to keep at the forefront of my mind, is that you're not in the convincing business, okay? You're not in the convincing business. So let me tell you where I heard this. Let's start here, where I learned this concept. I've heard it before, but I think where it really kind of sunk in, like, wow, I need to really focus on this, was I remember when I was first getting ready to write my first book. Okay, actually, not my first book, my second book. So the very first book that I wrote was a book that actually never got released. It was a book that was focused on personal training. And at that time I was doing personal training, but I never really got around to publishing the book. It was an overwhelming process. So I ended up coming across this guy on Facebook named Jerry Robert. So for anybody who's looking to publish a book, let me tell you, look up Jerry Robert, and that's not an S on the end of Robert. It's just Robert, Jerry Robert. Look up Jerry Robert. He puts on a live training event called what is it called again? I think it's called Publish a Book and Grow Rich or something like that. But just look up Jerry Robert. You'll find information on him. He has easily one of the best live training events that I've ever gone to. Okay, so I would highly recommend them, especially if you're interested in becoming an author. But nonetheless, back to the story. Okay, we were in the middle of his weekend training event, and he invited this guy to come and, I guess, promote his program or whatever. And so this guy came in, and he was just, he was telling us about his program. And then at the end, when he went into his close, I just remember him saying, listen, guys, I'm not in the convincing business. Okay, I believe that if you want to be successful, you let people know what it is you have to offer, you put it out in front of them, and then you let them make a decision whether or not they're interested in taking advantage of it. And I just the way he went about saying it, I'm kind of paraphrasing it a little bit, but I just remember him saying, look, man, we're not in the convincing business. Okay. And it took me a while to really understand what he meant by that. But as I continued to advance in my career, I became more and more cognizant of the importance of that statement. Okay. You're not in the convincing business. And so when it comes to sales, right, once I started to really embrace this like way of thinking, it really kind of sped up the success in my career. And it ended up making me a much better sales professional, because here's the thing: most people, when they interact with salespeople, they kind of tend to cringe because, unfortunately, a lot of salespeople are taught to use high pressure tactics and things of that nature to try to convince people to move forward and purchase whatever it is they're selling. But once I started to embrace the mindset of, look, I'm not in the convincing business, it changed everything for me. Because what that allowed me to do was, number one, take the pressure off myself as a sales professional. Because the reality is I can't make anyone buy anything. Okay. And no one can make make someone else buy something. Okay. If someone purchases something, they're going to do it because they want to purchase it. Okay. And the other thing is that a lot of times when you're selling, you could be shooting in the dark if you go in with this mindset of, oh, I'm going to go in and pitch them, right? No, so once I took on this mindset of I'm not in the convincing business, then what I just wanted to do is whenever I interacted with a candidate, or not just a candidate, but a potential customer, my main thing was really trying to understand what's the problem that you're having and what type of solution do I have that might be of value to you. Okay. And once I identify what your problem is, and I feel as though I have a solution that could be of value to you, my only job at that point is to put the solution in front of you, explain the solution to you at a high level so you can understand, and then put it in front of you and then allow you to make a decision whether or not you want to move forward and purchase this. And when I started to operate from that perspective, as opposed to I'm a closing machine. And by the way, I was actually really good at high pressure sales. That's the other thing. Okay. It actually does work. Okay. But there's a lot of negativity that comes along with that, that I just wasn't a big fan of. When I took on this mindset of not being in the convincing business, everything started to change. Okay. And so one of the things the reason I'm telling you this is because what I want you to understand is that in your career, you're going to interact with people on some level, right? Like I always laugh when I hear, people say, oh, I could never, when they find out that, my whole career has been in sales, they say, oh, so many people are like, oh, I could never do sales. Oh my goodness. And I just laugh at this point, and the reason why I laugh is because when people say that, they have no earthly idea that they're involved in sales anyway. Okay. There's no escaping it. Anytime you have to deal with someone else and you have to, talk to somebody else and try to get something from someone else, you're in a sales situation. Okay. And so there's no avoiding it. Okay. You might not necessarily be selling a quote unquote product or service or whatever, but you are selling in some way, shape, fashion, or form, right? Anytime you want to get a promotion, you got to sell. Anytime you want to take on more responsibility, you got to convince them. It's just not convince them, but you got to let it be known that that's what you want to do, and you got to sell them on the fact that you have what it takes to make that happen. But when I think of the word convincing, when I say you're not in the convincing business, when I think about convincing, what I visualize is someone that's constantly trying to be like, okay, and like overcoming a whole bunch of objections and, just a traditional sales thing. Okay. Where it's like, you don't let this, like I've actually been taught, in the past, early in my career, hey, look, when you get a customer on the line, you don't get off the phone until they hang up the phone. Okay. This I've actually been taught this before by other quote unquote sales professionals. Okay. And that's just not, in my opinion, that's not the best way to be productive. Okay. See, when you take on a mindset of I'm not in the convincing business, then what you do, just the whole way you approach, the process of becoming successful, it tends to change. Okay. And so when you're not in the convincing business, then you can focus on being in the opportunity generation type mindset. Okay. When you're not focused on trying to convince people, you can focus on generating as much opportunity. See, that's my thing. Okay. My thing is I focus all of my attention on trying to generate as much opportunity as humanly possible. See, because what I feel like is if I could generate a pipeline of opportunity that is humongous, then I have no other choice but to win, right? Like if I could generate a ton of opportunity, I don't have to do no hardcore pressure selling of people. Okay, there's just no need for it. Okay, because I have more than enough opportunity. I feel like when you're trying to convince people, that's somewhat of a scarcity mindset. Okay, and I don't want to operate from a space of scarcity, and I wouldn't recommend that you operate from a space of scarcity. Okay, so just remember this: if you want to be more productive, you want to learn how to be more productive, what you have to focus on is understanding that you're not in the convincing business. Okay, and instead of focusing on trying to convince people, right, focus on generating so much opportunity that you have no choice but to win. Okay, and if you do that, I promise you, you'll be in a much better situation. Okay, listen, hopefully you got great value from this video. I want to give you something special. If you have a telephone, video, or face-to-face interview coming up and you want to be best prepared for that interview, I want to give you free access to a virtual training platform I created called Interview Prep University. If you'd like to take advantage of it, go to my website. It is 100% free. www.interviewprepuniversity.com. Again, that's www.interviewprepuniversity.com. And do me a favor, I want you to order a copy of my book, The Ugly Truth About Getting Hired: How to Land the Job of Your Dreams Regardless of the Competition. It doesn't matter if you're currently in the interview process or if you may end up being in the interview process in the next year, 5 years, or 10 years. Okay. Regardless of where you are in your career, this is a must-read book. It's a short read, and it's designed to teach you everything you need to know from point A all the way to point Z to help you exponentially improve your odds of eliminating competition when you're going through the job interview process. If you'd like to get pick up a copy of this book, go to my website, www.theuglytruthbook.com. You can order a physical copy there, and when you order that copy, you're going to gain immediate access to a free downloadable copy since you placed that order. Okay, so if you like, go ahead and pick that up. Again, go to that website, or you could just click the link in the description area below. All right, listen, thanks for checking out the video. Hopefully you found great value. If you did, like this video, drop a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll be dropping valuable content on a daily basis. All right, thanks for checking it out. I'll see you in the next video.